our third card, which is another birthday card. Sorry. And this one is from the Lily of the Valley bundle. It's another birthday design with a completely different personality. We are using that Lily of the Valley bundle, and I am using the Scalloped Christmas Cheer dies. Aren't they awesome? These are on pre-order for demonstrators. They will be available to everyone on September 1st. They will be go-tos in my stamp room. Absolutely love them. This card has a few little details. The pattern paper runs down the left side and gives us a strong vertical anchor. The white scallop layer softens the edges and creates a beautiful background for the Lily of the Valley die cuts. So white on white might seem boring, but it doesn't have to be. The secret is to add some dimension and some texture. Here we've got the scalloped edges and the pretty pierced detail. The flowers, the raised pieces, the shadows help each white element remain visible. Those little tiny flowers are so sweet. I'm going to share with you how I created the flower stems and how we put this all together. So let's get cracking. Let's get our supplies. So hang on here. Let's see if I can give myself some room. All right. So let's do a little relaxation crafting here before we jump into everything. So these pretty Lily of the Valley flowers. You can see I have a green stem and the white flowers and just a little tiny touch of pink. And I pulled that straight out of the paper. So what I did was die cut 2 tall Granny Apple Green stems and then 2 white stems. And on this one, I wasn't concerned with getting the full stems. What we're after are those pretty little floral cups. And I added just a touch of color along the top of the flowers, and I'll do that before I snip them off. So I'm using Petunia Pop. You could use, a variety of colors. Fresh Freesia, let's see, Rich Razzleberry, any little lavender pink color that adds just a hint of color there. All right, then what I'm going to do is snip the flowers off of the white stem, and I'm going to try to keep them in order because they are different shapes, different sizes. So if I snip it off and I kind of go with the curve, I'm going to place that at the top, and then I'm going to put them in position. And this, while it seems tedious, it adds a beautiful detail to your little flowers. So sweet. And it's just a little tiny extra bit of time, which makes the card even more special. There. All right, so there's one. Let's go ahead and do the second one. You can barely see them on camera, right? Let's see. Uh-oh. All right, so we're going to the top. And so there are 7 of these flowers. How coinky-dinky that we're using odd numbers, right? And the stem was designed with an odd number. And there we go. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to just add them to our floral stems, and I did this is the easier part. We're just going to add the little tiny dot of glue onto each stem. You could use a mini glue dot, And the take your pick is helpful. We're going to pick up each little flower and drop it right onto the stem. This is what I'm saying, why it's nice to keep them in order. If you can, it's like a little puzzle if they get mixed up. Not a big deal. But these lily of the valley flowers, I know they're lots of people's favorites. They are just the sweetest little flower. And by the way, I'm going to add, if you are a lily of the valley person, this happens to be my card class of the month. We won't be creating this particular card. We'll do 4 other cards. Let's see, what am I thinking? For August. I don't have them handy. Let's see if I can show them to you before we sign off. Okay, so I did one. Let me add my glue. I'm trying to talk and think at the same time, and it doesn't always work. Let's see, what do I want to tell you about my prepared kit? You get a paper share, some embellishments, and this little card is just a sample of what this beautiful suite is capable of. You do have to register by the 20th if you want to join the card class. It is $30, additional $10 for shipping. And you do receive the full prepared kit, all your cardstock and dies, if they are not part of the Lily of the Valley bundle, are cut for you. You'll receive the step-by-step tutorial. As I said, a supply of the paper. Let me push that into place. What I love about the liquid glue, the embellishments, a full share of the embellishments, and any ribbon you may need, everything is included for you to create with this beautiful bundle. I stuck my, this is not a good day. There we go. Oh, I forgot to put a little dot here. Oh, that's the one I picked up with my finger. There we go. And take your pick, gets into all those tight little spots. And I think it looks like I put the wrong flower on there. Did I just say this is not a good day? Oh my gosh. There we go. As again, they're kind of a different shape and a different size, so you want to try to keep them in order. There we go. All right, so our little flowers are prepped. Let's do the rest of our assembly. So basic white card base, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have my pattern paper, so pretty, with that Lily of the Valley. I love this pattern as well. Such a choice, right, when you have to take sides on the pattern paper, because you will see this pattern, if you do like the golden color, it would just as easily work with your card. So your choice. And we're going to have about 1/8 of an inch border on 3 sides. Press that down. Let's build our focal point before we add it to our card. So these are going to go in position here. And I want to more or less keep them within the perimeter of the rectangle here. And it's going to go there. We're going to bring in 2 of those leaves, Granny Apple Green, and these are going to be put right at the base of our stems. So let's add a little glue dot behind, not a lot, remember. So let's see. Tiniest little glue dot. Beautiful, simple birthday card from our Lily of the Valley bundle. Bring that in right here. Put the second stem in. one little dot, not a lot, and a little bit on the stem. There we go. Flip that over. This one peaks a little bit higher and at a slightly different angle. So you can see we still have all those beautiful flowers visible. Next, we're going to add our Granny Apple Green leaf. Bring that in the bottom, bend that out. And the second leaf, and I flipped them so that they're going opposite directions. There's just the tiniest variation in the angle of the leaf. Right in there. And what I'm going to do, I don't want too much going on. I'm going to see if I can trim that leaf. So I'm off camera, sorry. Just going to snip that so it doesn't show as well. All right, now I can put this on my card base, and I'm going to be adding it with dimensionals. So today's class is a little bit lengthy. We are doing the 4 cards from our monthly Stamp with Friends class, in which we create 4 cards using totally different materials. They are not common in the bundle. You get a variety of stamps, papers, techniques. So you walk away with 4 totally different cards, different themes, occasions. All right, so next I'm going to go ahead and take a piece of fresh freesia ribbon. It's about 1/4 inch wide, the perfect width. And I'm just going to do a very loose bow. With some little floppy tails. And this is going to go right onto the card base. I'm going to use mini glue dots to adhere. And we're just going to put that right onto there. It doesn't make a big difference how neat or how messy. We are going to be covering that up with our sentiment. It is the happy birthday sentiment from the stamp set. And again, I'm using my Memento black pad. I'm going to ink up. You know, I love to turn the stamp upside down and ink up. That way I can see everything's inked up. I have better control of the ink. This is going to go right in the vertical center. I'm leaving a little bit of space on the left. We can trim it at the right, because what we're going to do is add a little forked edge. And I'm going to do it the same manner I did the previous card. I just go up the middle, a little slit, and then come in on the diagonal. And I think I need to take a little Gooby Gone to my scissors. That's what happens when you're cutting dimensionals. They get sticky, right? I like to do 2. Gives me a better view. There. And there. Okay. And this is going to go over the ribbon. So we have that little extra height with the ribbon, meaning we need to add dimensionals to step over that bow. So the ribbon, again, it adds a little bit of movement for us. It's going to go right in the center. The birthday greeting gives the eye a place to rest. And we're not done yet. We're going to add a couple of, well, more than a couple, the green gems to repeat the color from the stems, and just a little bit of sparkle. So let's put 2 down here, and I'm using the different sizes. These are the same gems we used on our previous card. And I'm going to put 2 up here. And I'm violating that rule of 3 or odd, but I kind of like it with just the 4. And there we go. So who has a birthday card shortage right now at home, right? So today's class, you've gotten 2 birthday cards to help you out with that. And that's exactly why I like including birthday cards in my Stamp with Friends. They are wonderful to make, but even better to have on hand when a birthday sneaks up on us. So happy birthday with the Lily of Valley. And let's see if I can grab my class so you can see. I would love for you to join us for the Lily of the Valley class. We do make 4 cards. This is a beautiful gatefold card, a go-to template, and let's see if I can bring up the others. Right now they're on a display board. So the other 2, a not so fussy cut, and a beautiful card with die cuts and texture. So in our class, we will make the 4 cards. You'll get a share of the paper, the embellishments, all the ribbon you need, everything cut and prepped for you. All right, so let's see where we are. Oh my gosh. Let's see, we are on card 4. All right, my friends, it is time. Thank you for waiting patiently. If you were with me on part 1, I teased you with the birthday card. So let me grab, oh my. Oh, trying to clear my desktop. Here is our final card. It is a birthday card. And as it is, it's clean and festive with the 2 bright party hats, the huge birthday greeting, and an embossed background, right? The embossed background adds great celebration to the card. This is a embossing folder. It's a 3D embossing folder. I know it's out of stock at the moment. I think it's called, let's see, Magic Swirls. Let me check my reference. Stamp with Friends have this flyer available to them to see all of the products that were used on the cards. So this is Swirls of Magic embossing folder, and it adds quite a bit to our card front, right? We have the 2 focal pieces, or the birthday and the party hats. The birthday is the star, and the little gems just bring a touch of sparkle, but we're not covering the entire card with them. So let's see if I can show you when we open the card. Should we open it? If you're ready for a surprise, tell me snap. Here we go. Snap! It's your day. Is that fun? Oh my gosh, I love a pop-up. I think it's my favorite kind of surprise card. It makes a birthday card extra special. Isn't that cool? Every time it opens, it's your day, snap. Happy birthday. All right, let me show you how I created this. Emboss panel, the movement, everything that brings the cards together. Let's see. A little bit of work here, as with any good thing. Let's see, bring in all my supplies. First of all, we've got our card base, which again is white, but it's not a boring white. We've got a lot of texture and layers going on. We have a large scrap of smoky slate. That's what we're going to be stamping and cutting our camera from in just a moment. We have our Swirls of Magic layer, which is going to go right atop. And I think I'm going to go ahead and add that just because, I don't want to lose it. And just frame that out with a little bit of glue, not a lot, from the edge of the paper, about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the paper, and it's centered onto the card front. There we go. And I have pre-die cut in vellum the outline to the birthday. I have basic black, some scrap white to stamp. I have the adhesive sheet, which I'm going to go ahead and put on. I am going to put the adhesive sheet behind the basic black to outline, or for the birthday. It's not the outline, sorry. And I'm just going to show you how I like to do it. So I think the hardest part with the adhesive sheet is getting started from the edge and just kind of trying to flick back one of the edges, which of course isn't easy when you're on camera. But today I'm finding nothing has been easy. It's one of those days. Well, here we go. I think I'm almost there. Okay, so I like to reveal part of it, not too much. This is slick, this is sticky. I'm going to flip it over, align it at the top. Just match up those edges. So it's 2 inches, the same size of the cardstock. 2 inches wide. It's got the adhesive on the backing. We are going to be die cutting the word birthday. And I like to do that when I need it because there's a tricky little element, that dot on the I. We are going to try to capture that if we can. If we cannot, it's not a big deal. But before we die cut that, we're going to have other die cutting to do, so let's prep with that. We are going to be stamping the camera elements on basic gray. So let me bring in our helpful tool. We are using the stamp positioner, and I have these 3 stamps needed already adhered to the acrylic block. So we have the outline of the camera, that center element, and then the little lens covering. And we are going to be stamping in Memento Black. Right, so make sure I'm inked up nicely. So nice and inked up. Let's position our paper. I actually have 1/4 of a sheet of paper, only because it's a little bit easier to get our magnets in place that way. So the positioner, you want to make sure that you can see the Stampin' Up! Right at the bottom. There are the 2 little pillars that you put the acrylic block in. And wouldn't you know, I put it on the wrong side. There we go. Better. Okay, so all we're going to do is press down firmly, and I'm going to shift that over just a tiny bit. Nice thing about acrylic, you can see right through it. And bring it down and apply your pressure. And the nice thing is, if it doesn't come out stamped just the way you'd like it, you have a second chance. However, I don't need to. I'm happy with that. I'm going to bring that out. Now let's do our die cutting. And here is, again, need for the standard size machine. I'm going to get my black ink pad out of the way. And let's see. Okay. Elements. Again, I have my magnetic plate and some very worn pads. And the only time the wear affects things is the paper tends to kind of stick to all the grooves on the pad. So it's nice when you have new pads. However, you can't always have new ones, right? And I'm going to bring that in right there. And this one, I was going to use my Take Your Pick tool, which is now lost on my desk. Let's see. right, the last element here. This is the Capturing Smiles bundle. Just adorable. You can add your own pictures to your design. And you can make the camera in a variety of different ways, a variety of colors. All right. We're going to bring this in here. There. And let's see, these are our camera elements, except for one last thing. I have a 1-inch circle of silver foil. And let's see, let's go ahead and build our camera. So we are going to add our center element, and this is just adhered with liquid glue. And it goes right into position. You can see where it belongs. Just align that little cut. It's a little bit crooked, but I'm okay with it. There we go. All right, the next, this is going to be popped up with dimensionals. This goes right behind. So I think it goes kind of like right in center. I can add this with liquid glue. And then the little ring I do want to pop up, and it's a little bit tricky because it's very narrow, but let's see if we can just use, I don't know, maybe half a dimensional. Is that going to be possible? Let's see if I can do that. So I just sliced, oops, did I get it? No, I only got the covering. Where, there we go. 1, 2. So if you were with me from the start, you know that this is part 2 because class was interrupted with an emergency text, which turned out to be not earth-shattering, but it's okay. Everything's good. Husband's credit card was compromised, but it's all taken care of. Just inconvenient when you're out thinking you're going to take care of a bill with that credit card. So I'm just going to place that right into position there. All right, so we have our camera ready. We are going to do also the insert, and let's see, oh dear. Let's see. The snap comes from the mini alphabet die, which is just very handy and convenient. So I die cut the entire alphabet and the special characters, and then I just grabbed the letters that I need. And the S is always tricky. I always want to make sure I don't have it upside down. So S, N, A, NP, and we have an exclamation mark. But before I do that, let's do our stamping. We have a couple of things. Get that out of the way. Get our black ink. And the It's Your Day comes from the Fragrant Layers stamp set. So we have used that a couple of times during this class. And we're going to just go for stamping it kind of centered. There. And let's do our other stamping. We also need a, oh, I already have it there, a happy for the card front. So this is just on about a 1/2 inch scrap. We need that. Get rid of this. And let's add our letters and our exclamation mark. And you can see I kind of put this at an angle. I didn't want it to look too perfect. If it was too perfect, it would not be an Anna Marie card, right? There, kind of bend it around. And then we have our exclamation mark with the little point, and I'm going to put that right there. All right, so to adhere, I'm going to take my little bee tweezers and just grab my letter and do a tiny little dot behind. So you could, if liquid glue is not your thing, you could use the adhesive sheet as well. The tiny dot of glue suffices, and it also gives you that wiggle room if it didn't land in the right spot. There. Oh my goodness. I need to wrap this up because I just saw what next? Today, Terrible Tuesday, I'm going to name this. Oh my goodness, my battery is low. All right. Okay, so this is like Alexander's terrible, horrible, very bad day. Did you ever read that story? That was a favorite. Everything goes wrong on one day. And that it's not even lunchtime yet, and I feel like I should call it a day. The nice thing is tonight is Stamp with Friends, and so that always lifts me up. This time I'm going to put the little dot right here, and I'm going to use my, oh, I say that. I was going to say I'm going to use my Take Your Pick. However, you guessed it. It is not. I found it. I found it. Okay, so there's the little dot that goes right there. Exclamation. Snap, it's your day. So now let's talk about how we're going to make that pop up. So my mechanism happens to be 1 3/4 by 3 1/4. I have pre-scored it at 75, 1.5 inches, 2 1/4, and then at 3. So that is the mechanism right there. We're going to create a little box and place it right here on the card. So let's see if I can recall how I did this. My first adhesive is to bring this in and secure it on the right side of the score line. So let's bring that in. And it's going to be about 3/4 inch from the bottom, 3/4 inch wide, or scores. So, and it's going to wrap around and fold, and then we're going to create that little box. So next I'm going to put, let's go ahead and score this. Sorry, burnish it. It's already been pre-scored there. And then finally, alrighty, we are going to apply some adhesive right down on that 1/4 inch fold. We are going to fold it over so it meets the edge. And because it's liquid glue, you probably want to hold it down in place. So this little camera is going to pop forward when you open the card. It gives the recipient an unexpected interactive moment. Wow. The card still folds flat for mailings. This is exactly the kind of card I love. It's a clean front, a little wow, and no special delivery required, no special skill required on opening the card or folding it back up, which I know a lot of fun folds suffer from. Sometimes it's very confusing for the recipient on how to fold and put the card back into place. All right, so now this is just going to be adhered to our mechanism. I'm going to add a little bit of glue here, not a lot. We want it to stick, and just a tiny bit over so that the camera folds flat when the card closes. So, and we're gonna test the mechanism. We're gonna close the card slowly and make sure that nothing's gonna extend. See, when I push it flat, close the card, and when I open it, whoops, I just realized I needed to. Oh my goodness, I adhered it to the wrong side. It's okay, let's see. Let's add our adhesive here. Now we're gonna close it. All right, it's all good. Eventually it's all gonna be good. All right. I'm not following the rule. Measure twice, glue once. It's not quite as catchy as the original saying, but it saves cardstock and sometimes even our sanity. There we go. Open, close, open, close. It's working. All right. Perfect. Now let's do our card front as well. We have our card surprise done. Let's decorate the front. I'm going to bring in our elements, and oh, we're going to need to do some die cutting on the mini machine pad. That seems to be a common phrase. Let me close up my ink pad. All right, mini is in position. This time we are cutting the birthday with the adhesive on the back. I'm gonna pass this through. And hopefully that little element has not gotten lost. Right through there. Let me get rid of this. I'm going to bring in my vellum that I pre-cut and pull out my birthday gently. Right through there. And what I want, you can see it right there. The eye, the dot for the eye is still there. Perfect. That's what we wanted. So this would be something that my crafters need to die cut on their own, because that little dotted eye could just break my sanity if I tried to keep it together for them. So this birthday happens to be in two pieces. We've got the capital B and then the word. So now it's a matter of peeling off and placing it on our vellum. Hello, Margaret from North Carolina. So happy you popped in this morning. This is part 2 of a Stamp with Friends class. So I had a bit of a mishap, had to break away. I was interrupted by what was thought to be an emergency. Turned out it's nothing earth-shattering, so all's good. And what I'm trying to do now, here we go, is peel away the adhesive without stretching the die. So the die cut. This is one of the trickier parts with these delicate words. And so you just want to reattach it gently. North Carolina, I think. I want to go there. I've never been. But probably right now is not a good time to visit, right? I see something I'm going to push out. That little gap in the R. There we go. All right, so there's that. The only thing I'm going after is that little dotted I. So I'm going to push it out of the die cut. Hopefully it'll land on my finger. This is the trickiest part. It's got some adhesive on it, right? And this is very delicate. Let's see. I could just put a little dot of glue on the vellum, but so. And with anything else, usually it comes off. There we go, it's coming. It's coming, I got it. And right there, so. Okay, Can I get some applause for that? Oh my goodness, look at that beautiful birthday. All right, so let's bring in our card front. We are going to be adding this to the card front, and it's okay to put dimensionals on there. They're not going to show through too much. I did use minis, and I tried to place them right behind the black lettering so that you can't see them too much. And that's always the worry with vellum and attaching it. Sometimes you can see the adhesive behind it. I don't think any of it's critical, but everyone has their own preference. No judging here. All right, so next I'm going to just angle it towards the bottom, right in place there. Let's see, I thought I helped myself out here. Where would they be? Oh my goodness. I pre-stamped the party hats. Now, where these come from, I am so happy with this set. It's called, I thought I had it here to show you. This is a keeper on my shelf. It is called Seasonal Celebrations. Look at that great hat. And it also had St. Patrick's Day and graduation. This was for Easter. So a terrific set. It is now unavailable. It's retired, but as I said, it is a keeper. I think it was just about 6 months ago that that one went away. But sometimes you got to grab these stamp sets while they're available, because they are stamp sets that you will need over and over. I'm going to flat adhere these little party hats. I stamped them in Coastal Cabana and Berry Burst, and I made the little pom-pom in the opposite color. Now I'm just going to add them to my card front, flat adhered. This is the celebration that's going on, the party hat celebration, and it's going to come in at an angle. And we are going to add the happy, also raised up with dimensionals, so we can add it with minis. Oops. I got two for the price of one, which reminds me, oh, I'm so glad I said that. Stampin' Up gave us a surprise. Tomorrow, there will be double rewards offered when you place an order. To meet the threshold for Stampin' Rewards, your order just has to be $20. And ordinarily you earn 10% back in rewards. For 3 days, you will be earning 20% back, which is amazing. And leads me into, if you would like the project kits for the 4 cards of Stamp with Friends, you just need to place a $50 order online with me as your demonstrator by Friday. And I will send you the kits. Almost everything is die cut. Nothing is stamped. However, you will see with the projects that you could easily substitute something from your shelf. So you will be able to create the cards. It includes all the card bases, the embellishments, everything you need to create the cards that I shared with you today on Stamp with Friends. It's almost like you are here locally. And that's the reason why I decided to offer Stamp with Friends to go, because I had lots of people reaching out and saying, I wish I lived near you. I'm going to add 1 rhinestone here. This is where the flash would go, right? I'm adding 1 inside and 2 on the outside. So happy birthday. Oh my gosh, look at this. Everything is ready to go. Happy birthday. Snap! It's your day. Who wouldn't love to get this as a birthday card? I think it's adorable. I would, right? So, and it's one where they will love opening, closing, opening, and closing. So let me go back. This is our selection for Stamp with Friends this month. We have 4 cards. all different bundles, different themes, different styles, different techniques, and that is the beauty of Stamp with Friends. Such a variety for reasons to send homemade happiness. You can join on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, or take the kit to go. Either way, it's always the same cards. We simply enjoy making them with different crafty friends. So if you aren't local, you can take the kit to go. If you don't want to place an order, I will happily send you the cards for $25, and that includes shipping. So I should say card kits. I'm not going to make the cards, but all the materials you will need to make the cards, just $25, and that includes your shipping. So before we go, I'd like you to tell me which was your favorite. Was it Halloween, the Golden Harvest, the Lily of the Valley, or that sweet pop-up birthday? Which one was your favorite? I have a feeling number 4 might be a favorite for a few votes at least. And before I head out, I am going to say, 1, remember the double rewards. 2, I would love for you to join me in my Lily of the Valley class, which I'll place a link below so you can see everything that's included in that class. Or join me for Stamp with Friends. So Fergus says, 4 cards in your stash means 4 chances to make somebody smile. And Jean says, if everybody's smiling, you know there's going to be treats. So the staff of Just Stamp gives this month's Stamp with Friends 4 paws up and possibly a stolen snack. Thank you so much for bearing with me today on this terrible Tuesday. Not so terrible, right? Just little things that go wrong. Be sure to follow me on this Facebook page. If you're not on my email list, you would like to join, I will place the link below. I send out tutorials a couple of times a month. Margaret says the birthday. We have 2 birthday, right? And that's a good thing, because that probably is my number 1 reason for sending a card. Shouldn't always be, because sometimes we just want to share the happiness and recognize the fun holidays as well. All right, thank you for joining me again. Please reach out if I can do anything for you, or if you have any questions. I will post some links down below. And the best part about making a card is sending the card. You have the chance to make somebody's day. Thanks so much for joining. Catch the replay or go over to YouTube to see all the cards in the making. Have a great day.